I think we are live. Hello, everyone who's online at the moment. I just want to do a quick sound check and make sure the stream is working fine. So I would really appreciate if you just put in the chat box if you can hear me nice and loudly. Hi, Matthews. Hope I've pronounced your name properly and I've got your question. Hello, Subaraya. So, welcome to today's session, and I'll do my best to answer any of your questions you may have. So, ping them across in the chat box now because I won't be able to check my emails anymore. Okay, we're gonna get started. It's almost 5 o'clock UK time, and very warm welcome to everyone wherever you are in the world. I hope you are safe. Your family and your friends are keeping well as well. I know it is a very difficult situation for all of us, and we're in the same boat. So I'll try and do my best to help you guys out as much as I possibly can with these live sessions and answer any questions or problems you may have with regards to your digital marketing, online presence, Google Ads, YouTube, and so on. So today I'm going to talk about and show you guys why conversion tracking is so important, why you need to set them up, and how to set it up the right way. So let's hop into our Google Ads account, which I believe you can't see right now. Just give me a moment. And you should be able to see my screen now. So when you go into your Google Ads account, you will go to Tools and Settings, and then Conversions, and you'll come to this page. You then have a choice of the categories. I'll just make sure you can see my screen. Yes, you can. Okay, so then you have to decide what is your call to action or your conversion action, and this is where quite a few of you may get confused as well as to what to choose. So I'll go through it very easily and quickly. So the first one is obviously purchase. If you are selling online a product with an e-commerce website where customers come to your site and they make a purchase, then you choose this one. If you are generating leads, then the second option. And this is where confusion for some of you may arise. Why would you consider a page view as a conversion? Now, if you are targeting a top of the funnel audience, so let's say, for example, I'm running a video campaign and a display campaign on Google Display Network, and I'm trying to run traffic through to my blog post which I may have written. So I just want to see how many people click on my ads and come and see that blog post, and from there I can work out whether they were engaged or interacted, or did they take the call to action or not. So you can put in a particular page. A pricing page or a contact page could be another page which may be important to you and your business. Sign up could be sign up to your e-newsletters or weekly newsletters or anything like that, where you can get someone to sign up and you can track the conversions. Okay. When you enter the name, make it so that it is meaningful for you. So don't just write down lead, because you might have different leads on your website, different forms or different call to actions. So as they have said over here, that if you are tracking a conversion for the June newsletter sign up, then you should make that name as the June newsletter sign up, or the manager's job applications, or whatever it may be. So we're just going to call it a simple contact form. Somebody submitted a contact form and got in touch with us. Okay, here's where the problem happens. Most accounts which I see and come across don't have any value assigned in here, because if you don't assign a value, you will not be able to see what impact your Google Ads campaigns is having on your advertising budget, and whether you are making a positive or a negative return on investment. So don't just put in one. We need to work out what to put in here, and I'm going to show you in a second. But first, let's go through the rest of this page, and then we're going to work out a value for our conversions. You have two options over here. For lead generation, you have one. So it says you're recommended for leads, signups, and other conversions. Every is for e-commerce websites, because the same person can come back to your website and make another purchase. So that would be another purchase. Whereas for leads, you just want to keep it to one. Conversion window, you can decide whether you want to keep it for 30, 60, 90 days or a week. 30 is the average, and that is what I use personally. If you are selling a service which takes a bit of a time for someone to convert, then you can also put in the view through conversion window for 30 days, because this is what it means. A person may see your ad and not interact with it, and they go away from your website, then they come back later and convert. So that is what we call a view through conversion. If you are tracking a lead or a contact form, you must check this off. Otherwise, these conversions will not be included in the conversion column. So you may ask, why do they have this? Why not just include every conversion in the conversions column? You may track a conversion which is, let's say, someone scrolled to the bottom of the page, or visited 3 pages per session, or maybe viewed your video on your website for up to 75% of the video. So they are not actual macro conversions or the main conversions. Those are micro conversions. So you don't want to include that in this one. So for leads, always check this off. Attribution model, the default is the last click. I personally use the time decay, and the way this works is the last click gives all the credit for that conversion to that last clicked ad. So it's kind of like, let's imagine a game of football. The striker always gets the credit for the goal, but the other players who passed the ball around to the striker to score do not get any credit. but that's not right, is it? So you need to attribute the credits of that conversion, what led to that conversion, because if that ball wasn't passed, the striker would not be able to score. So it depends on how your attribution model is for your business or for your clients. In my humble opinion, the time decay is the most fair one, where everybody gets, or every ad gets a credit. So in here is the last ad on this one. The first click gets all the credit. The linear, if they have clicked on multiple ads, all the ads get the same credit. Time decay is where we can say, okay, in this campaign, these ads are getting the most conversion, so you can bid more aggressively, whereas the ones where your brand was introduced, you may not want to bid that high. Position based, as you see over here, the first and the last clicks get 40% each, and in the middle is distributed between all these ads as 20%. So I would suggest and recommend that, if you want to go with something which is a lot more better than the last click, time decay is the one. You will find that this is always switched on by default. You can switch it off as well. So again, it's your personal choice. I personally keep it switched off for manual bidding, and then I go into automated bidding. And then once it's all done, you create and continue. But we need to go back over here and work out this value. So I'm in the UK, obviously this is my currency, so whichever currency is in your account, you will first of all select that. Okay, so let's focus on the top one first. So let's say you got 10 leads and your conversion rate is 30%. So 3 out of every 10 leads you get, they convert. So you get 3 clients. The value per client or order or sales is, let's say, 1,000 each. So 3 times 1,000 is 3,000. So this is, we're working on that first transaction, the first time the customer has made a purchase, right? So we got a total of £3,000 as our total value or sales from these 3 conversions. So the value per lead would be 3,000 divided by 10 leads, right? And that is the number which I'm going to go in here and put in. So every time a conversion happens in the Google Ads reporting, you'll be able to see how much money you have potentially made, as long as your conversion tracking and your offline tracking is accurate. You cannot go wrong. So you make sure that you have something in place for tracking these conversions. So it could be just a simple spreadsheet. That's what we use for our business. We see at the end of the month how many conversions, leads we had, how many converted, and we work out a conversion rate, and then the average value we work out, and we get the value per lead. So that is where this is what most people do, even if they manage to do this bit, because most of the time I will only see this number 1 and nothing else, because nobody knows how to work this out. Even though it says over here, if you sell one type of product, enter the value for each sale. If you sell only one product for £20, assign a value of £20 or whatever. So you worked something out. So 300, you might think, okay, that's my value per lead, but that is the wrong number, and here's why. So I'm not trying to mislead you, I'm just trying to guide you to the right way of setting up this conversion value. Because once you get a customer in, for a lot of businesses, the customer, if they are happy with your service and your products, they will come back to you again and again. So what we want to do is to work out a customer lifetime value. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way that we work out a value or customer lifetime value until the customer dies, not at all. Usually 12 months to 24 months. If you have got data that you've got a very old and existing business, and you know that every time you get a client, they stay with you for 5 years or 6 years. A perfect example is car insurance or home insurance. How often do you change? Not very often, because we just keep on renewing them every 12 months. So that company, that insurance company, does not need to spend any more money on the acquisition of that lead. We are already their client. So you also have this number of clients already. When they come back to you, you don't have any cost per acquisition. So what we need to do is to work out the average customer lifetime value. And here's the game changer as to how you can outbid and always win in Google Ads against your competitors, because your competitors, or most of them, are working on just the first time value. They are not working out the customer lifetime value. Because quite often when we get, every time we get a customer on board, we always ask them a customer lifetime value, and many of them unfortunately don't know what it is. So when we go through these numbers in a simple spreadsheet like this, then it works out that, wow, this is what they can potentially earn. So keeping the same number of leads, the same conversion rate, the number of clients, now we make a difference. So let's say they in 12 months they come back another 3 times, and we earn a potentially from each client £4,000. So 4,000 times 3 is 12,000, and now your value per lead goes up to 1,200. So now your CPA, which is the cost per acquisition. Let's say you were in a very competitive market, and most businesses are in a competitive vertical or niche, and everybody is competing quite strongly against each other. Let's say your cost per acquisition was £250 to get a lead. Now we can copy this. I'm gonna reduce this a bit, put that here. Now if you were to look at these two figures, you will find the customer is looking at it from the point of view that, oh, I'm only making £50. The cost per acquisition is too high. You need to reduce the cost of acquisition. And if we start to reduce that cost, you are going to lose out in that auction. Your traffic is going to dry out, and you will not be getting entered into the Google auction. And all of a sudden your campaign is going to stop performing. And this is why every time I hear someone say, oh, reduce my cost per acquisition, well, that's the wrong way, because you need to look at increasing the profitability of your campaigns. You won't care what the cost of acquisition is if you're making 4 or 5 times the value of what you are giving to Google. So now you can see you can bid a lot more aggressively, you can throw a lot more budget, and you know that you are very profitable. Even if your conversion rate is not 100% accurate and it's a little bit up or down, you still have got enough margin over here. Whereas over here it is extremely tight, and you don't have much leeway as to how much to bid and what to bid and how to run your campaigns. So this is why it is very important and critical that you work out your average customer lifetime value and not just your first time order or sale. I'm going to look at the chat and see if I've got any questions with regards to this. Okay, got quite a few here. Alright, so what we do then is we copy that 1200 and put it there, and now you'll be able to see how much return on investment you are getting on your Google Ads. Okay, so Matthews is asking, is it correct strategy to start with maximize conversion and after 20 to 30 conversions switch it to manual based upon max conversion data? I would set the CPA accordingly. Yes. So what I would always do before you start setting up or going into automated bidding or smart bidding, you need to work out your conversions or the cost per acquisition manually. Once you have these numbers, now you can see the difference, especially if you are going on smart bidding. I mean, this is chalk and cheese. If you give Google a bit of leeway, it's going to give you some tremendous results and get you some conversions which you can even, not even can visualize or dream about, because most of these companies or your competitors would be bidding at this level, whereas you are bidding at that level. And your cost per acquisition, you can say to Google, well, I don't mind, I can even afford to pay 600, depending on your profitability. I'm not saying that you follow these numbers. These are just for example. Now, you are going to win every time. So you are bidding 600 to get a conversion, and the rest of the pack are bidding 250. So you win every time. You are going to win the impression. You will win that auction. You will probably get that click, and Google is going to get you these conversions at a higher price, but your volume is going to increase a lot. So I would say with maximize conversions or any kind of bidding, don't start with zero data. You need to give the machine some good data to learn, to know what you are looking for, and then you switch it over. So I would say about depending on how much budget you have. If you got tens of thousands of budget, you can pretty much get the conversion data in 10 days or 15 days or so, and then switch over. But if you got us working with a small budget of a few $100s or pounds, then I would recommend that you wait at least 30 days for maximize conversions and switch it from manual to maximize conversions. So I hope that made sense. Okay, another question I've got is, I spent too much budget but I don't get #1 ranking in Google Ads. So I think you're looking at the wrong metric. Is your goal just to be #1, or is your goal is to get conversions? Because quite often you'll find the ad ranked number 2.5 is converting better than ad ranked 1. But now Google has taken now that average position, so you don't know which position your ads are at. So I don't think you need to look at that #1 ranking. Look at the data, look at where you are. As long as you're getting in the top 4 and you are not losing out on the search impression share. So that is a really good way to look at it, whether you are losing out in the search impression share, or you are losing out on ad rank, because if your bids are too low, your ad rank will be low and you will lose out again in the auction. So hope this answers your question, Zamir. Okay, hi, just Rose from Kenya, good to have you here. The question is, I need to run Google Ads for a wedding venue and a school to push for registrations. Okay, so I'm not sure it's a good time for a business like a wedding venue or a hotel to run ads for on right now, because not many people may be looking to book, other than perhaps looking to book for next year or for 6 months down the line. So yes, you can run ads for wedding venues very easily, and in my previous life I used to be a wedding photographer, so I know the wedding game very well. If you need any help, please get in touch with me and we can jump on a call and go through your requirements. Okay, how many keywords on average is best for accuracy in terms of marketing and ad spend? Great question. It's not the quantity, it's the quality of keywords. Don't go on broad match, because that's where you will find that a lot of your budget is being spent or perhaps wasted. What I tend to do is I download all the keywords and then group them very closely and tightly, so that the group of keywords in an ad group are very relevant to that ad. The ad needs to have the keywords which you are targeting in that ad group. Another way to set up your campaigns is what we call single keyword ad groups, SKAGs, where only one keyword per ad group, and then you write the relevant ad. And perhaps I will do a little session on that as to how to set this up as well. That will be of interest to you guys as well. So that can also be done, but you need to make sure that you are targeting the right keywords. First of all, don't go too broad. Start with a handful, and then as your campaigns are running, you will find in the search term report all the other search queries which are triggering your ad, and then you keep on adding them into your account. Okay, so just I don't understand what you mean by this is what you use to quote clients. I would like to know how to budget my client's ad budget. That's a difficult one to answer, because it really depends on the cost per click. If your cost per click is, let's say, 50p or £5 or £50, that budget will be dependent on your cost per click, your average cost per click. So again, if you are targeting a local area, you need a smaller budget. Nationally, you need a bigger, and internationally, obviously, you need a lot more. Start small and then slowly expand. So you start with a set fee or a budget and say, okay, this is, if there's no data, if there's no campaigns which have been running before, what you want to do is you need to invest, not waste. I would say invest your money into testing the data and then getting the results from Google and see what's happening. And then you can work out, okay, I'm getting leads at such and such price. Then how many leads do you want in a week, in a month, or in a year? And that's how you scale your campaigns. So I can't give you a fixed value, because you can run on search campaigns, video, display, Gmail, remarketing. So there are so many different types of campaigns you can run, and then you need to allocate which budget you want to spend on. Okay, hi Zamir. So your question is, okay, I'm from Kuwait and running call only ads. So how to set conversion of call tracking because it does not work. Some countries, and Kuwait is also in that country. Yes, in some countries the Google call forwarding does not work, so you may need to get third party apps like CallRail. But I will be doing a let me go there. I'll be doing a session on conversion for phone calls, and that's where over here a lot of people get confused by calls from ads or calls to a number on your website, and I'll explain to all of you guys as to how this can be set up quite easily, and once it's set up it can track, and I'll investigate as to whether Kuwait, I'm pretty sure call tracking in Kuwait works, so I'm not sure right now as to the status of what is happening in Kuwait. So I believe that's I've gone through all the questions. So yeah, so hope you enjoyed this session, and thanks for being with me. I will be hosting these sessions every weekday from Monday to Friday at 5 o'clock UK time, and feel free to join in. If you can't join in, this is recorded and it will be on our YouTube channel. So please stay safe and look after yourself and your family, and I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Bye for now.